Hey guys, it's your average middle-aged American back again with another reaction video. This one comes from Alana, Ventures and Naps, and these are the things that she has never seen in a kitchen before moving to England. Now the thumbnail has a muffin pan, which is pretty standard in my world, but let's see what all she's got to say. I have not seen the video. We can see it together, learn a few things. Hey guys, before we get started, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It helps me out with the algorithm. Between that and the thumbs up, it gets the message out there. This is a new channel and I'm just trying to grow, a community of international friends online that can kind of help each other learn about other countries and other cultures. So if you don't mind, I'd appreciate that. Enough jibber jabber, let's get on with the video.
Hi everyone, it's me. My name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last 8 years. I know! When I first moved to the UK, there was so many things that were surprising. Pants are trousers. Tea is actually good. Roundabouts, terrifying. But I didn't expect there to be so many.
We have roundabouts. I mean, we may not have that many, but I know in my town, or actually, well, at least the next town over, they have roundabouts, in the small center of town.
Differences in my own home, my own British home, but in particular, the kitchen. I feel like there's so many weird things in British kitchens. So without...
All right, before I get started, am I the only one that's surprised that she's wearing a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt? I mean, she's younger than me. I didn't even know she knew who 9 Inch Nails were. Interesting.
Further ado, let's go. Scales. We have a couple. When I first moved to the UK, I used to complain. Yes, I know. If you've been with me since then, God bless you. I used to complain that kitchen scales were annoying because in North America, we use cups. And that's all I've ever known. So when I came here and all of the recipes used scales, used weight measurements, it was really frustrating and annoying because it's just not what I had ever done or even thought about doing. But 8 years later, I can...
You cannot tell me that you use a scale to put a tablespoon of sugar in something. I mean, there's no way. I mean, the scale wouldn't be accurate enough. I mean, it would be accurate enough, but it wouldn't be practical. A teaspoon or a tablespoon. You guys don't use teaspoons or tablespoons? I get it when you start getting into maybe a cup of something or a quart of something or whatever, but come on, teaspoons, tablespoons, a dash, where you just as much as you can pick up with, your 2 little fingers. I'll have to investigate that a little bit.
Say yes, I was wrong. Scales are so much more efficient, effective, superior. They're better, and I can accept that. I can accept and admit that I was wrong. I do still have some cups, measuring cups. My friend actually bought these for me as like a little reminder of home, but I so infrequently use them because really everything is better with scales. It's funny how in North...
I have a hard time believing that you use a scale for a teaspoon or a tablespoon of something. A teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar. We use scales generally, people that are either on diets or fitness gurus will use scales to get, measure out their meat and their vegetables and that kind of thing. But no, we don't generally use scales in the kitchen.
America, everything is cups. Everything is measuring cups, 2 cups, a quarter cup, tablespoons, teaspoons, a quarter teaspoon. Like, that's just how it is. It's what your grandma did. It's what your mom did. It's now what you do. It's like generational trauma, but for measuring stuff. But scales are better. I will say that. Scales are better. watching, all 5 of you, hi, how's it going? Do you know what these are?
Muffin pans.
Can you guess? They're a little bit dirty, so go ahead and just ignore that. These are Yorkshire pudding trays. And before I moved here, I did not know what this was. In my humble opinion, I think the Yorkshire
It's a muffin pan that's just not, it's a little bit wider in diameter and a little bit more shallow.
Yorkshire pudding is one of the most important and or best items of a Sunday roast. Leave a comment down below. What's the best item of a Sunday roast? Yorkshire puddings, right? And obviously a Sunday roast is extremely popular and common here in England, but it's not in Canada or the US. It just isn't. I will say though, story time. When I was a kid, we would go visit my grandma and grandpa on the one side. And grandma would cook us a meal. It was always super good. And it typically was some sort of like roast beef, mashed potatoes, veg, gravy, and Yorkshire puddings. And that was the only place I had ever had Yorkshire puddings. It was at grandma's house and she would make them. It's not something that I would see on a menu, like at a restaurant, or we did.
Okay, I got a question. America's got plenty of weird things, you know, weird names for stuff. But you guys use pudding for everything. I mean, I'm assuming pudding, American pudding, Jello pudding is pudding. And then you've got Yorkshire pudding, which if I remember correctly is some kind of a, like a turnover pastry kind of thing. And then you've got black pudding, which is just some kind of concoction with blood and fat and all kinds of weird stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, that's like 4 different kinds of puddings right off the top of my head. In America, pudding is pudding. It's like the consistency of mayonnaise, a little bit thicker than mayonnaise. And it would be like butterscotch pudding, chocolate pudding, vanilla pudding, you know, like a dessert. How do you make a Danish or a pastry? How is that pudding? And something made out of blood and fat is pudding. Let me know. Am I mistaken? I could be, because I've seen a lot of videos and I've already done a lot of videos and maybe my head's just a little off, but to my understanding, that's 4 different kinds of puddings that are 4 different kinds of food groups. Let me know.
Didn't have Sunday roast. This was like a special meal that grandma would make. And it wasn't until I moved here and I was exposed to the Sunday roast that I realized that my grandma was making us a Sunday roast. It would have been something that her mom from the UK would have taught her, and then she was giving to us, and I had no idea. But I had never actually seen her make the Yorkshires before. I'd never seen these tins until I moved here. So I bought my own tins for a YouTube video. Most of the stuff I buy are for YouTube videos. If you watch that one, God, that was probably 3.5 years ago. It was in the old flat in the old kitchen. I made my very own Yorkshire puddings for the first time. I love them. It's now part of our tradition. So every Christmas.
Are those drawers in the wall? That's cool. So you could flush out the stove in the microwave. They put drawers in there. It's a much smaller kitchen though. You guys with your switches everywhere, switches on the outlets. It's just funny. You have these giant plugs for these tiny little appliances. If they had just moved those uppers like another inch or something, she could have had another drawer in there. I don't know if I've ever seen drawers as uppers. That's pretty cool.
Christmas. My partner is a really good cook, so he does like kind of everything else, and my responsibility are the Yorkshire puddings. I just love them. I just love them. Have I told you that I love them? Hello, welcome to this side of the kitchen. I would like to talk about an electric kettle. Bear with me. Now, yes, technically, I did know what an electric kettle was. I didn't grow up under a rock, but this is something that's very different. So just give me a second, let me explain. While you are watching this video, have a think. In your flat, house, mansion, how wonderful. What appliances are currently on your countertop? The ones that you leave out. So maybe that
Toaster, 4 pieces of toast or 4 slices of bagel, microwave, coffee pot. Wife drinks coffee. I don't drink coffee. And she leaves a kettle on the stove. We have an electric stove top with a separate in-wall oven, but the stove top has a kettle on it for boiling water. She drinks tea. She's not English. I think that's it. We don't have much kitchen countertop space until we redo our kitchen. We have a large kitchen, very big kitchen, but not a lot of counter space because there's a table built in the middle of the kitchen. Yeah, so the tea kettle, it sits on the oven. Takes, I don't know, 5 minutes to boil water.
that's a toaster. Maybe that's a microwave. Maybe that's you know, you get the little pots with like your spatulas and your flippers and stuff.
Yeah, that's not an appliance.
That's not an appliance. Forget I said that. But I bet 99% of you have an electric kettle on your counter and you use it pretty often. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say pretty often. That was not my reality growing up in Canada. My mom had a really scary old kettle that we stored in the basement because we would only use it maybe once a year if you wanted to make like jello. What do you call that here? Like
Jello.
Jelly. You know, like the dessert, like the gelatin dessert, and you like use boiling water in the little packet. And maybe we would do that literally once a year for some dessert thing. And that was it. The kettle lived in the basement and it was often forgotten about because nobody used it and nobody needed it. Now that I live in England, this is our kettle. He's a good lad. He is boiled sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day. My partner and I both have pour over coffee in the morning, so we boil the kettle. Maybe you have a tea. Ooh, in the...
What is pour over coffee? Is that like instant coffee? And why? Just get a coffee maker if you're gonna make coffee. Or even a Keurig. We have a Keurig. We have a storage closet in the garage, which is right next to the kitchen. And that's where all of the stuff is. We don't use that often. We got a Keurig for guests and you know, blender and mixer and you know, all the stuff you don't use that often. Electric can opener and all that. Pour over coffee. I'm assuming that's just instant coffee. I always thought that was supposed to be gross. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. When I wake up, I drink a Coke Zero, which is the masculine version of a Diet Coke. That's my coffee. It's Coke Zero. And then after that, I have a Diet Coke, which is the non-masculine version of a Diet Coke. And I'll tell you why, because I know you're curious. Coke Zero is a little heavier, and Diet Coke's a little lighter. And Coke Zero, I learned this in business class, in case you're curious. Coke Zero was marketed to men, where Diet Coke has generally been marketed to women. I don't care because I'm old and I've been drinking Diet Coke my whole life. So I like it heavy in the morning. Then I drink Diet Coke in the late morning, early afternoon for lunch. And then I go to clear sodas without caffeine, or Diet Coke caffeine free, Sprite Zero, which doesn't have caffeine, Diet 7 Up, Canada Dry Zero. I know you care. I know you do. That's why you're watching the video. You go, hey, I want to know what this American drinks all day long. And that's it. 3 to 4 sodas. One of them or two of them are caffeinated. One or two of them are not. Try to squeeze some water in there. No coffee. Rarely tea. Never hot tea. Occasionally iced tea. With sweet and low, which is terrible for you. I just don't know why you would drink coffee and not have a coffee maker.
In the wintertime, or maybe like a sleepy time tea before bed. We use this all the
Sleepy
time now,
time
and it
tea.
is a staple in my English kitchen. And I would literally die without it. And also, one last point about electric kettles. I did an experiment last time I was in Canada. I bought my mom a newer kettle because we were gonna use it when I would go visit. It's a long story. I bought my mom a kettle, a nice, good electric kettle, right? It should last a long time. We boiled a liter of water, and
I'm assuming that's just like a hot plate, right? That they use in like tiny apartments. Just you plug it in and it's just like one coil of a stovetop. Or are they like infrared now? Like the fancy stovetops? Is it like an infrared cat? Does it come as a set? So it's like infrared kettle and then an infrared hot plate? Let me know if you know.
I want to say,
By the way, I'm going to trademark that. Let me know if you know. You heard it here first. So let me know if you know.
it took 6 minutes to boil back in Canada. So imagine waiting 6 minutes for this kettle to boil. Here, good old kettle. This for a liter takes, I think, just over 2 minutes.
It's because it's twice the voltage. I mean, it's pretty simple. That's why American hot water heaters and dryers and ovens are 240. Air conditioners, I guess in Canada, Canada is similar to America. Most things are 110, 120, depending on the nickname you use. And then heavy duty stuff is 240. Whereas the UK, everything's 240. So yeah, it heats up faster. It also allows you to use a little electrical, in case anybody's curious. Anybody wants a little electrical knowledge, here you go. When you do 240 instead of 120, you can use less amperage, and therefore you can use smaller wiring. Yes, it's more dangerous. 240 is much more dangerous than 110 or 120. But it allows you to use smaller wire, which is less expensive. And the wire doesn't heat up as much because you're not using the same amount of amperage. See? Let's think about everything that you've learned today. You've learned what I drink, why I drink it. You've learned about her tea kettle. And you've learned a little bit about electricity. One-stop shop. What are we? Somehow we're 22 minutes into a 7-minute video. I don't know.
Incredible, but kind of off topic. And with an electric kettle, of course, you have to have abundance of mugs. Plain mugs, big mugs, funny mugs, tons of them.
We have a ton of mugs.
And honestly, it is so hard not to buy mugs every time I see them. I want a collection. I know it's not needed. I don't have the space for it, but I see a nice mug and I just can't help myself. I did use...
I'm not even kidding. We boxed up for Goodwill or Salvation Army. I don't know what you guys have over there for donation places for... They either sell it or give it to the poor, or they sell it and use that money to help the poor or whatever. It's where you donate things that are not trash. We must have had, I'm not kidding, we must have given 40 mugs. It's insane how you can collect so many mugs. Not even on purpose. They just come from everywhere. It's like they just migrate into the house somehow.
Used to have the infamous Sports Direct mug, you know, the one that fits like 6 liters, but I dropped it and I was absolutely devastated. But this is part. This is part of my mug assortment collection. A new recent favorite. Shout out to Jamie who sent this to my P.O. box. I did a video about Bullseye. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. And this is a heat changing mug. When the picture shows up when it gets hot,
That's
I absolutely
cool.
love it. Who doesn't love a bit of bully? Washing machine. I haven't tidied up yet, just ignore the mess. Yes, I have seen washing machines in North America. Surprise. Shocking, I know. But I've never seen it in the kitchen. That is very British. Can we say broadly European? It's not something.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know how you guys do that. I mean, it's you have a small enough kitchen to start with, and then you jam your washer in there, and then I'm assuming she doesn't have a dryer. I mean, what do you guys do when it's like got a house full of people and your washer machine's running in your kitchen when people are cooking? And did they just do it because it's easy access to the water line and the drain? You'll never see that in America. I shouldn't say never, but very, very rarely. Our laundry room is in the garage, which is next to the kitchen. And it's a full size washer front load, a full size dryer front load, and then 2 washer pedestals for delicates. So 3 washers and a dryer. I know it's silly. It's a long story. It wasn't much more than just buying pedestals. I got a deal I negotiated. Anyway. And then above that, we have cabinets. And then to the side of that, we have shelves, floor to ceiling. So that whole laundry area, you know, you put a couple of baskets of laundry on the floor. Then you got shelves above it for cleaning supplies and all that, you know, cabinets. And then you got shelves for bleach and laundry detergent and all your extra stuff. You know, my carpet steam cleaners in there and all that. I mean, where do you put all your supplies and everything if your washer's in your kitchen? I mean, we have, you know, our jugs of laundry detergent stuff are that would take up a whole pantry. And you guys don't have pantries for food. I don't know how you do that. I just don't know how you do it. I mean, it's all what you're used to. I guess it's the same as living in a tiny apartment in New York. If it's all you know, you're not missing anything. Now, what's this thing behind her? Is that another hot plate or is that a scale?
Something you see in North America. Back home in Canada, I lived in a variety of different homes. I also lived in my own flat, my own apartment, and I lived in a house in college, so like a student house. And every property had a laundry room. So typically it's in the basement because you kind of want it out of the way, but it would be a room for your washing machine, your dryer, maybe a space to hang stuff up that can't go in the dryer, just a laundry room. But of course, where homes are a lot smaller here than what I'm used to back in Canada, where do you put the washing machine? In the kitchen, of course. So ours lives right here. It's exciting, isn't it? When it gets near the end of the cycle, my God, does this...
That's kind of where, I mean, that's where our dishwasher would be. Like our dishwasher's right to the right of our sink, between the sink and the stove, top, is where the dishwasher is. She probably doesn't have a dishwasher. mean, that's a lot of room for a kitchen that's not huge.
This thing make a noise. And I don't own a dryer. We used to have, in the old property, we had the 2-in-1. So it was like a washing machine and then it could also do a dryer function. But the dryer function sucked and it was always like still quite wet afterwards. And it would run for so long that you end up having to hang it up anyway. So this one's just a washing machine on its own. And then we have a drying rack thing in the kitchen, which is fun. So you have people over, you're having a nice dinner party, and there's a bunch of drying laundry in the corner. You gotta make do with the space that you have. But having it...
Now, you guys don't find that your clothes are crispy from sitting out drying, air drying? Like our dryer has like 15 different kind of cycle settings and everything else. You can determine how dry you want it, how hot you want it, how loud the buzzer is, you can get everything. It even has a remote control available for it. We don't use it, but... And then if you don't pull out your laundry, like every 15 minutes, it will tumble some more to make sure you don't get any wrinkles. But like when I lay out stuff, I think I've either said this before or typed it before somewhere. But yeah, I mean, like my towels that I use to wash the cars, they're like crispy, you know, when I lay them out to dry. Do you get that with your clothes? Our dryer even has a dry cleaning cycle. So you can literally dry clean your clothes without washing them. You know, if you had a, you know, like my wife, you know, has professional clothes, like suit jackets and stuff. I don't put my stuff in there. I send it to the cleaners, but yeah, how does that work? Is it crispy and then you have to iron it and that kind of puts it back into normal? Or in like jeans, Jesus, if you take out a pair of jeans or a bedspread or something, if you wash a duvet or a bedspread or sheets, how do those dry? You have to lay out sheets to dry? Seriously? I mean, seriously, I didn't even think about that. Like we can throw in sheets in our washer, wash them, depending on what cycle you put it on. It's 30 minutes to an hour maybe. And then I always double rinse everything because I don't want to worry about allergies or anything. And then the dryer's maybe an hour. It's just sheets, less than an hour. And your towels? Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, we do four or five loads of laundry a week. You're just laying all that stuff out everywhere? Well, you know, I'm a big boy. I got big towels. I mean, my towels are huge. And if I go through 4 or 5 of those a week, you'd have to lay all those out all over your house to dry? Because I can stuff 10 towels in my washing machine. I'm confused. I'm so confused. And is in all seriousness, is that normal? Like, I understand English houses, UK houses in general are about half the size of American houses. I understand that part. But let's say you have a larger than normal home in the UK. You know, let's say you have a 1,500 square foot house. I think average is like 1,000, 1,100. So let's say you have 1,500. Would they have a separate area for laundry and would they have a dryer probably? Or is it just doesn't matter how big or how expensive, you probably don't have a dryer? Let me know. If you know, let me know.
And this in the kitchen was very surprising and unusual to me. Today we're talking about butter. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, so just pretend this doesn't exist. This is what I would like to talk about. A butter dish. I never had a butter dish growing up in Canada. Maybe you did.
You leave your butter out on the counter? We have a little a separate little bin in our refrigerator for butter, just like a separate bin for produce. Is it a different kind of butter, or I mean, our butter would be kind of gooey if we left it out like that. This is interesting.
I don't know, maybe it was just us. We were very much a margarine family, and I do have some Flora Light, I want to say, in the fridge. You know, time and place, right? But there is something about having actual butter, cooking with actual butter. Absolutely incredible. But I was getting so tired of these and like sticky and it just sticks out and yuck. So I bought a butter dish because I am a thriving young woman. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. I never had a butter dish until I moved to England.
We have a butter dish and it's plastic and it goes in the oven. I mean, in the oven, it goes to the refrigerator. And then if we're having a nice dinner like Thanksgiving or whatever, Christmas, then we have, you know, our china. We have a butter dish. Well, we have several butter dishes for china that are china, matching china. The question is, does she leave it out on the counter or does it go in the refrigerator? If you know, let me know.
Is that something? I hope so. Welcome to the fridge.
What?
We just got a food order and everything is haphazardly shoved in. 2 points with the fridge, to be fair. Number one, I've never had a fridge this size.
I could make a thumbnail with the expression on my face. I am not kidding you. That fridge is the size of the fridge in my office for soda. I get it. You guys go shopping more often than we do. I don't know what I would do. Now, this may not be completely average, even though I'm an average middle-aged American, but in our house, we have a fridge that's 4 times that size with a freezer that's probably that size or even bigger on the bottom of it, called a French door refrigerator. I don't know if you guys have those or not, but basically it's like the old side-by-side refrigerators, except for it has drawers at the bottom for the freezer. We have 2 of those, one in the house, one in the garage. And then I have another refrigerator that is the size of the top and bottom of this, that's only for soda. It's the kind of refrigerator you would buy, well, and beer and water. It's only for beverages. And it's a Coca-Cola refrigerator. It's what you would see if you go to a gas station or a convenience store. I have that just for our beverages. They're all lined up nice and neat. And then we have a full-size freezer, which is basically the size of 4 of those that she just showed. Now, I know that's a little overkill, but there's no way. I know people with RVs, with recreational vehicles, with campers, motorhomes, that have refrigerators bigger than that. I mean, and they drive it. I don't know how you could do, I don't know how you're surviving on that. I mean, you'd have to go to the refrigerator, to the market every day. Every day. Wow. I mean, I am blown away. I've seen smaller refrigerators. I've seen apartment refrigerators. I get it. I don't get that. It's nice. Nice looking. That's crazy. That's insane.
So this bit is the fridge and this little bit is the freezer. Even in college, I had an American fridge. In my own apartment in Canada, I had an American fridge. Never had a fridge this
come on.
small.
What are you
or a
doing
freezer
with
this
that?
small, which is tough because sometimes you just want to have, you know, some things frozen for when you need them. Do you know what I mean?
It's a little bigger than I thought it was, but it's still... I'm not exaggerating when I tell you we'd have to have 4 tops and 4 bottoms to feel normal.
Essentially the purpose of having a freezer. But this is our fridge. It is small and it is overfilled, but that's fine. I'm gonna eat loads today, so don't you worry. How about, oh, this? As a little treat, we got some pork sausage rolls. M&S do the best ones. If I'm gonna have a sausage roll, which is honestly not often, I wanna have a nice...
What is that, a liter of milk? Is that what that is? So we have gallons and half gallons of milk. So a liter, if I remember correctly, is 67. No, a 2 liter is 67.6 ounces. So a liter is basically a quart. No. Yeah, a liter would be a quart, almost around a quart. So yeah, we would have 4 of those milk bottles, milk jugs, 4 liters. Yeah, our milk comes in 4-liter containers or 2-liter containers. 64 ounces or 128 ounces. You couldn't even put a gallon of milk in that refrigerator. Literally. Maybe on that shelf above the crisper. Wow. I mean, just my beverage refrigerator has... Well, it holds 40 bottles of water. And then it holds... $36 cans of beer or soda on each shelf, and it's four more shelves. So yeah, we have 200 drinks on in our beverage refrigerator. There's 1 row for water, 1 row for beer, and then 1 row of Diet Coke, Diet Soda, a row for regular soda, and a row of mixed or whatever. I get it. You go to the store more than we do, but we get something every week. Now, we do go to we'll order stuff from like Costco, which is a warehouse club. And like when if I order Diet Coke, that you can either get them in a 12-pack, a 24-pack, or a 35-pack. So yeah, if you had to store 35 Diet Cokes and 35 regular Cokes and 35 Sprites, where would you put it? I guess you could hide it inside your washing machine. I don't know how you guys handle that.
Really enjoy my sausage roll experience. So we get them from M&S on the odd occasion. This is not something that I eat back home, not something we would ever have. I don't think I ever had a sausage roll in Canada until I moved here. So that is something to include in this video. With that, close this. Welcome to our messy spice drawer. You can't see it. Coleman's mustard. This is something you don't see in North America. I imagine you could get it at like a specialty British shop, perhaps, or have it like imported. It's not something that I'd ever seen or tasted or experienced until I moved here. But let me tell you, together, divine. This is actually another Christmas tradition. Every morning, Christmas Day, we have some sausage rolls, usually the little small ones, like they're like half the size of this. Throw some of those in our air fryer, delicious, but you have them with a little bit of English mustard. Christmas is now complete, but every once in a while we have it as a treat and I love it. Where did I get this?
We have pigs in a blanket. I don't know that it's exactly the same thing, but it's basically pork sausage type material, ham, hot dog or sausage, and almost wrapped up in like a croissant. Pigs in a blanket.
This from. There's not a lot of strange food in our fridge today.
Where would you put it?
Oh. How about some mango chutney? Indian. Here's another thing. I never ate Indian food until I moved to England. It was not something that was even offered in my hometown. We didn't have an Indian restaurant. Wild, right? Basically all the towns that I've lived in here, other than I lived in a really small village that didn't have anything, they all had Indian restaurants. So some mango chutney with some curry and papadums.
We have at least 20 Indian restaurants within, I'm going to call it 30 minutes of us. She didn't have a single Indian restaurant? Interesting.
It sounds really bad on my accent. Anyway, this has been in the fridge for like a million years. Oh. How long does this last usually? That's the question for another day.
Taste
what
it.
else is British? Oh, can you see this? Nando's. I got the Nando's Peri-Nays lemon and black pepper peri peri mayo. It was a club card thing at Tesco, I'll be completely honest. And I never had it before. This is really nice. If we ever have like chicken tenders, like chicken goujons, and you do it, dip it in this, it's lovely. And Nando's, how British. Let's do one more thing. How beautiful is that can? After I'm done filming this YouTube video, which I hope you guys like, hope you're having a great time. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting me. You keep this channel alive, okay? So God bless you. After I'm done with this, and after I clean up the kitchen, because everything is out now, I'm actually filming a YouTube membership video taste testing all of the new Thatcher's cider flavors. So I got them in the fridge in preparation.
That reminds me, I have to see the video where apparently she gets obliterated. Everybody keeps telling me to watch that video. I forgot about it till just now. Maybe I'll watch it next.
The one that I'm most excited about, look at that, is the Thatcher's Blood Orange. I've been eyeing it for months and I was waiting for this video. So I got a whole bunch of Thatcher's ciders to taste test. That video is going to be on YouTube memberships. In case
you guys have, similar fruit to what Americans have. I was curious about this. I was talking about orange juice the other day, and it dawned on me that I know that in some countries, orange juice is very expensive. Real orange juice, like 100% fresh squeezed, no preservative orange juice. You guys have that? Obviously, apple juice shouldn't be a problem. You have so many ciders. What about like watermelon and grapefruit? What about avocados? We get a ton of avocado from either Mexico or South America. Avocado's expensive to you? Let me know. Let me know what's the expensive fruit or vegetable that might be normal in America. And vice versa. If you know, let me know.
That is your cup of tea in case you like those kinds of videos. But I probably should wait until the afternoon. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. So maybe we'll wait. It's kind of wild what is so strange initially and over time becomes so unbelievably natural and second nature. I've lived in the UK for 8 years now. A washing machine in the kitchen no longer surprises me. It's just, it's how it is. It's life.
I assume she doesn't have a dishwasher. Are dishwashers normal for you guys? She's got a small place, but she's got a double oven, unless it's an oven and a microwave. It actually probably is an oven and a microwave. which is nice. That's a nice unit based on how small the top part is. I'm assuming that is a oven and a microwave. Do you guys, I mean, is dishwashers, is that a normal thing or not? In America, you can get a decent dishwasher. I mean, you can get an inexpensive dishwasher for a rental unit or something for, you know, $400. So maybe 300 pounds, 350 pounds. And then you can get a nice high-end dishwasher, you know, either a KitchenAid or Bosch for, you know, $700 or $800, stainless steel, restaurant quality. You put in a bowl of cake batter and it comes out clean. I don't mind hand washing dishes. I actually prefer to hand wash them than to even load the dishwasher. My wife, she loads the dishwasher every night. But if I just have a couple of bowls of whatever, if I make a little mess, I just do it all by hand. But it is nice when you have a party or, you know, you have a you know, dinner party or something. You have 8 or 10 glasses and 8 or 10 bowls and 8 or 10 plates. You know, it is nice just to throw it all in there, and in the morning it's clean and dry and ready to be put up. Let me know. I mean, is a dishwasher crazy? I mean, obviously a lot of people don't have dryers, which I've never in my life lived without a dryer. Ever. Even in an apartment. So let me know. If you know, let me know.
And things like English mustard have become part of my yearly routine, you know, my Christmas tradition. It's just kind of wild how life changes and how things that were weird are no longer weird. Do you know what I mean? I'm having a little bit of an existential crisis. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day and you have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. Few items in the kitchen that are more English than anywhere else, or at least more English than Canadian, and basically American. Great video as always. And, you know, I find it interesting. Most things are the same, but obviously there's always going to be differences. If you're new to this channel, it's anything and everything that interests me as an average middle-aged American. That includes learning about other cultures and other countries, international travel, learning more about my own country, the United States, and what other people think about the United States and Americans. Basically, if it interests me, it's going to end up in this channel. It's all going to be organized and sorted by playlist. I would appreciate you subscribing. I think you'll like the channel. Doesn't cost you anything, helps me quite a bit. Thumbs up's always appreciated. And until next time, thanks again, and I will see you soon. Take care.